Hi, everybody. Welcome to the AFL or the BAW show, I should say. Now we've rebranded. I am sitting outside tonight in the nice weather, and I am joined by Kira and Ari. Ari, welcome to the BAW show. It is your first experience with us, so
Yes, it is.
welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. It's good to expand the knowledge. So I'm happy to be here.
You're feeling Tez's shoes. How do you feel?
Oh, they're a bit loose. The shoes are a bit loose, but no. It's, if I could be half the man on camera, Terry's, and I think I do a good job. I reckon.
I think you will do a fantastic job, Ari. You are killing it on The Rest. For those that don't know, Ari is one of the co-hosts of The Rest, which he just literally came off his show and jumping straight onto ours. So we do appreciate the last minute call up for Tez tonight. I firstly want to acknowledge our sponsors, who is the Carlton Cheer Squad, who I am actually a member of, and I'm sitting at Banner tonight. Huge for us to get a sponsor so early in the piece, being so new to doing a podcast. And we're also on Spotify. So if you'd like to give the Blue Abroad channel a like and subscribe, and just give us a nice rating on Spotify as well when you listen back tomorrow. Firstly, team, how are we? Are we excited for Friday night?
Yes, we're very excited for Friday night. It's a good week to be a Carlton supporter. We were all a bit worried that we would be a bit disappointed after we watched the girls, and then we'd be even more nervous going into Friday night. But we've started the week off, I suppose you could say, if we're counting the last weekend. We've started the week off well. So fingers crossed that leads into Friday.
Yes, I'm very nervous. So how about you, Ari?
The nerves haven't stopped. The nerves haven't stopped. Once the week kind of got into gear, once Monday came around, it was very much a just trying to tick time over till Friday at 7:50 or whatever it's going to be. So I'm nervous, very, very, very nervous.
I can't remember who made the comment, but someone made the comment on the final siren of the AFLW game, and they were like, right, now we have nothing else to turn our attention to. Now it is literally the final. That's what's next. Like, we can't distract ourselves any longer.
6 days to stew on it.
That's it. And because our girls don't play until this coming Sunday, we actually have a bit of time on our hands. But let's look back at the game on Saturday. Let's get into the show first of all. Kira or Ari, do you want to play the?
There is. Bear with.
Ari's
we'll
the
try
technician.
Find it. I'm the technician.
Thrown him into the host and the technician seat. If you can't find it, it's all good.
Where are we? No, I'm sure I can.
I've got it.
Find it.
I've got it. Let's go. Huge shout out to Tez for getting that sorted as quick as he did. No, it looks amazing. I love it. Every year we have such really good opening credits. So huge shout out to Willem who put that together for us as well. But yeah, let's talk Saturday. What are your initial thoughts on how we structured up?
Good. We had a game plan. We had a structure. We kicked goals in every quarter, mind you. A goal in every quarter. What is this? Carlton don't do that normally. It was Ari and I sat together for the first half before we joined Tez in the second half. And I think the whole time we just kept saying, we have a structure. Like, we can see what they're trying to do. They're kicking the ball in places that they're using footy brains to do so. I knew you'd be very proud, Coach Shan, but no, it was very good to see that we finally had something to work towards. Even when, I'm sure we'll get into the last quarter soon, even when in the last quarter it started to look a bit ick, I was confident that even if it happened to go the other way, that we would still be happy with what we saw, because we saw some structure, some game plan, and something to really look forward to for the rest of the season.
Yeah, for sure. I think it gave a lot of people hope. I think a lot of people were nervous heading into the first game about what we were going to see, and a lot of people weren't expecting a lot. But it was just I think proud. I think the comment there was just really proud to see the girls perform in the way that they did with the structure that they did and the way that they went about their footy was very pleasing to see, and hopefully it provides a good platform and a good set layer to kind of build off for the rest of the season.
Agreed. And I know Kira and I turned to each other halfway through the last quarter and we're like, what is going on? Because it kind of looked like we did kind of just start to take the foot off the pedal a little bit, and we started to see Gold Coast really start to get some ascendancy, and they really started to move the ball well. Charlie Rowbottom started to get more of the footy. And it just started to look a little bit like we were going to get run over. But huge credit to Bucky and his team for really putting the clamps on in that last 2 to 3 minutes to make sure that we got numbers behind the ball, made sure that the girls didn't actually lose the game. It was fantastic to see just them dig deep, something that we haven't seen them do in the last couple of seasons to date, which has been fantastic. And the fact that we're able to move the ball so well and get the ball into the forward line and actually score was incredible.
Absolutely. And I think there's a few layers to that last quarter. One is just that we ran out of legs, and we spoke a lot about fitness last week, but that was pretty obvious to see that we just started to run out of gas in the last quarter. Then the other one is that we were pretty dominant all game. So you're never going to have control of the game for an entire 4 quarters. So Gold Coast were always going to have a period where they were on top, and it just happened to be the last quarter. But like you said, in years gone by, we wouldn't have seen a team that was able to hold on in the circumstances that they held on. So it was really good to see a game plan, some structure, and them dig deep and get the win in circumstances where we probably haven't seen that in the past.
Can I just say, before we get sacked from this job, can we talk about Mariana Anthony for a minute?
Tez gave us strict instructions when he wasn't going to be here tonight that we could not do the show without mentioning her. She was incredible. It was really, really good.
Yeah, picked up from the Essendon VFLW program over the summer period. She has been nothing but incredible. I think Nick and I were talking halfway through the first half, and she'd had like 9 or 10 tackles already. Like, her tackle pressure was phenomenal, and I've never seen anything like it. Like, just her ability to burst into the pack and just lay a tackle and then just bring the rest of the team on for the journey. It was just such excitement for everyone in the crowd watching. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think another point to make from the game, Ari and I made comment of this in the first half, but then I didn't even notice until yesterday. I saw a tweet about it. 91 tackles. Cheer Squad, actually. I saw it on the Cheer Squad story. 91 tackles, and that is a record for Carlton AFLW. We have never laid that many tackles in a game. It's taken us till now, but we're fine. I don't know if that's a positive or a negative, but let's roll with the positive that we have made a record tackle game. So that's really exciting as well, because, Ari, we spoke a lot about the pressure in the first half.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, we spoke about, like, earlier on in the show about the structure and the way that the girls wanted to play. I think you that kind of is allowed to happen through the intent and through the pressure. So it's almost that minimum standard that the girls are going to put out every week. It's like, now we know this is what they can produce. They should be able to produce this more often than not. So even when the structure does break down, like in that last couple of minutes where Gold Coast were able to get a run on, I think without that pressure, without that intent, we could have probably been on the wrong end of that result. But I think it just adds that minimum standard that we can expect from the girls every week. And just really proud to see that intensity lift from last season.
100%. And I think that the fact that we're speaking so highly of the game plan and the structure after round 1 just kind of signifies what we've been talking about for the last 2 seasons at least.
Just saying hi to all your fans over there, Shan. Yeah. No, of course. And I think now we higher our standards. So going into last week, we didn't really know what to expect. We don't have anything to base it off when we're starting a new season with so much turnover. But I think now that we've seen, although be it a really small sample size, we can put a little bit more expectation around what we see week in and week out. And we're not just kind of here like, we just hope for the best and pray. So, yeah.
I just want to switch the attention to Darcy Vesio for a second. It came out during the week that they had iron infusion over the break, and it's actually rejuvenated them and made them feel a little bit better, which is fantastic to see because they were sensational on the weekend. Like just their ability to find the footy, run and carry and kick goals ultimately, which is why they're part of the forward line and why they've been a great footballer for so long. It's actually really good to see them back to their best. And if it just means getting an iron infusion, then keep them coming.
I had to laugh in their post-game interview. They're like, get an iron infusion, check your iron or something. I did laugh at that. That was quite funny. But no, absolutely. And I think that goes back to everyone listening is going to be sick of us saying game plan and structure. But I think it goes back to that again because last year we saw Das in the back line and in spaces on the ground that they just shouldn't be. So I'm glad that we've seen them back in the forward line, kicking goals, exactly how Darcy is meant to operate in this team. You know, we're a better team when Darcy's kicking goals. So I was really proud that we were able to start this season on an absolute high in that sense. And hopefully they keep on coming. Let's keep goals rolling, please. I just can't believe we kicked a goal in every quarter. That every time I think about that, it gobsmacks me.
It was very, very pleased to see. And I mean, football's a simple game. When you have a player who can kick goals as well as what Darcy Vesio can, play them forward. It shouldn't be that hard. Like they know where the goals are and they have the ability to pull things out of nothing. I mean, we saw the last goal that they kicked was just forward instinct, forward craft, and you don't get that kind of from most other players. So playing them forward, it was pretty blindingly obvious that they had to move back there, and they did, and they produced the goods which we needed.
We absolutely did. Ari, while Terry's not here, do you want to throw him under the bus and tell him what he said after Darcy kicked that goal?
Oh, no.
Yeah, show Mr. Terry Degani, right? One that is always forever the optimist and forever drinks the Kool-Aid as he always does. After Darcy Vesio kicked the goal in the last to put us, I can't remember how much it put us up by, but he turned to me and Kieran and said, "Game over." I was like, that's it, game's done. Well, actually, no. Actually, he said if Carlton kick one more, I think it was at 3/4 time. If Carlton kick one more goal, then that's the game. And then after Das kicked the goal, he turned to us and said, "Game over." And then when every Gold Coast goal, we just looked at him and was like, "Oh, game over, is it? Game over, is it?" And then, I mean, the smug grin that he had at full time was just typical Terry Degani, I think.
That actually makes me laugh so much because I know I turned around to all of you at one point and I'm just like biting my nails going, what is going on here? But no, Terry is a forever optimist and I do love that he was so optimistic. And he even came out on the ground and helped with the banner, which is something he hasn't done before. So he's super, super exciting to see him out there listening to my instructions, lifting the pole when he was told to. It was actually good bossing him around for once.
He takes his own medicine, I think.
You were the boss. That's so funny. I do think we agreed with him, Ari, but we'll leave that bit out of the story. That's irrelevant.
We weren't as passionate and as kind of full on with it. We were just like, yeah, we should win. We should. I think our words were should. We didn't call it.
Should.
We just expected the win. But
No,
the girls got the job done, thankfully.
Just shifting the attention to the rest of the competition for a second. And I actually was listening to the Ben and Harry podcast today on the drive into the club. And Harry actually made an interesting point that apparently this was the most amount of goals kicked in an AFLW round in the history of the AFLW. Wow. The most goals in round one. Yeah.
That's really
across
cool,
the competition. And last week we had a comment on the show around why isn't it high scoring? If you look across the scores, which Kira, I'll get you to touch on in a sec, unreal scores, just unbelievable amount of goals being kicked. And I think those slight rule changes that we spoke about last week have actually come to fruition pretty quickly. And the fatigue actually comes in. And it's fantastic to see. So if you want to do a quick wrap up of the round that was.
I'll quickly go through all of the scores. So Melbourne Collingwood, it was 73-31. Melbourne won. Just quickly before we move on, Melbourne are so ridiculously good. It is a joke.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
It is so not fair. I was sitting there. Obviously, they played before Carlton. So I was sitting there watching it and I was just thinking, oh Lordy. Like, we are so far off the mark. Luckily, we came out and then played actually really well, and it filled my confidence a little bit, but far out there good.
Yeah.
Like, really good.
It's just,
I was here live.
They just kick the ball so well. They just know where it needs to go. And anyways, enough about Melbourne. We're not a Melbourne show. They're very good though. Then we had us, Carlton, Gold Coast 34-32. Carlton won. Then we had Adelaide, Port 58-28. Geelong beat Bulldogs 65-17. So there's one of your really high scoring games, 65. Then we had Hawks 30. They lost to Essendon, who scored 49. Then we had North Melbourne. We're up against North Melbourne. They smashed St Kilda 56-16. So we'll touch on that a little bit later. Then Richmond beat Brisbane 40-34. Sydney had their first win. That was really, really special to see. I think Chloe Malloy spoke on AFL 360, I think, the other night as well. That was really special. 51-46 against the Giants. And then Freo and West Coast, Freo won 27-19. So, yeah, as you can see by the scores, there was quite a few high-scoring games. Melbourne scored 79, obviously, and then Geelong scored in the 60s as well. So high scoring.
Incredibly high scoring. And it's good to see. And that's something that we've been wanting in the AFLW space for a while. And we knew it would come. We knew that the scores would eventually come and the goals would rain in. So I hope this silences a few critics around the scoring around AFLW, because it's proven just in round one alone how high scoring it can actually be.
Yeah, I also think even just the overall skill level has improved drastically. I have a lot of people turn to me and say, yeah, the skill level's really good. It's especially from where it's been in comparison to last season and the years before then. You can see this. A lot of people said it's probably the biggest jump that it has been from an off season to a new season in terms of its overall skill level. So the trajectory is looking very promising for the entire competition, which is very pleasing to see.
Absolutely, which I think goes back to, we'll only see it strengthen each week, but the fact that they're training during the day is just a massive upside. I think in the long term, I think we'll look back on this season and say that was the greatest thing that AFLW probably ever did, and Carlton did, was getting them training during the day and not after they'd finished a full day of work, because I think that's just having massive, massive impacts on them as athletes, but also as a team.
100%. And my husband watched the Essendon game, and he even said he doesn't really follow much football other than here and there for the Bombers, both men's and women's. But even he said to me that their skill level has improved just in the short time that he's seen games, which is fantastic. And for someone who doesn't really watch it as avidly as I do, that's a huge compliment to the AFLW as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I saw quite a few people at the AFLW game. Mind you, just small touch on it, not to be negative, is the crowd we all did look around at the crowd and say, it's probably not as big as we thought it was going to be, but that's okay. It's fine. But I did look around and there was quite a few people at the games that I know of that probably wouldn't have stuck around in the past, but just because of the, men's being in the morning, that was good, but it probably didn't overlap as well as we had spoke about last week. There was quite a little gap in the middle, but still the crowd was 3,244. So still a good turnout. I looked it up, 1,000 short of what we had round one last year, but round one last year we were against Collingwood. So bigger fan base. We were up against Gold Coast. So they didn't exactly have a whole heap of fans at Icon Park on the weekend. So Collingwood, Gold Coast can't really compare, but yeah, 3,244 was the crowd.
Yeah, I was actually wondering.
Sorry, go.
No, I was actually wondering what the crowd attendance was, because we were a bit disappointed sitting in the cheer squad just watching people leave. But full credit to the club. They made a really good day of it. They had face painting, they had balloons. I tried to get the kids engaged. It was really good to see the boys stick around too. I did actually see them up in the balcony watching, which was fantastic. Yeah, they were intently watching, and we'll touch on the Irish girls in a sec. So, but yeah, go ahead, Ari. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, obviously, a bit different last year. Round one this year, we were coming off the disappointment of last year, so you kind of don't really blame people for not wanting to watch what a lot of people thought would have been since last year. But I think the club were lucky in a sense that the girls were able to do what they're able to do, because it's given a lot of fans a lot of hope, and hopefully we can see those crowd numbers and the performances and the crowd numbers move up together. So
yeah, absolutely, I agree. But on that, like Shan said, great day. Like we were really lucky with the weather. If the weather wasn't as good as it was, it would probably not have been. Yeah, but the weather just absolutely turned out. Food was great. Cafe's coffee was incredible. So yeah, it was a good afternoon for the footy, and morning if you were there in the morning as well. But yeah, it was good.
Oh, the weather was sensational. I think I nearly got heat stroke.
I got sunburnt somehow. There you go.
That's funny.
How does one get sunburnt on a day when it's not that hot?
You were also wearing a jacket, Ari.
I was on my face, just under the eyes. I don't know how. I'm meant to be Greek. I'm meant to have that European kind of skin that doesn't get burnt, but oh well.
I go dark, so I got the European skin where I sit in the sun and I go dark. So you can have some of mine if you like.
Lucky you.
Ari, can I borrow some posters? Someone said that I need to make my background a bit more decorative.
This took a lot of work, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, I might need to borrow some.
Yeah, you can put them up. I'm not doing this again. This took too much effort.
Maybe I'll just chuck my scarf up somewhere. I'll work on it, Jimmy. Next week I'll have a better background for you.
I forgot that. Good point here. Jess Del Pos was everywhere.
Yeah,
absolutely everywhere. I think when we were sitting there, we're like, oh, Del Pos again. So I think she really took on that leadership role with Kez being out. So I'm really, really happy to see that she's taken that next step this year, which we were talking about last week when we were talking about who is going to be the leaders to step up. She was definitely one of those for me.
Yeah, no, she was great. She had 19 disposals, was everywhere she needed to be. So I thought she really stepped up and was a pretty crucial part of this win on the weekend. So kudos to her. Hopefully she can keep it up and have a really big season.
100%. Fully agree. I can't add more. Can't add more.
Beautiful. Well, let's do our votes. And then before we move on to the preview of North Melbourne, who are your top three, Kira?
Well, I plan on coming back next week, so I'm going to say 3, Mariana. Anthony, Tez, I would like to stay co-host of the show, please. And then I'm going to go Das 2 and Del Pos 1. Beautiful.
Ari?
I'll keep the same 3, just in a different order. I'll put Das at 3. I just think match winner essentially. Put Anthony at 2 and then Del Pos at 1.
Beautiful. And for me, I'll go Mariana the 3, Del Pos the 2, and DV the 1. So we've gone the same. But I do want to give a special mention to my fourth player that would have got votes was Abby McKay. She also played really well.
She was going to be my fourth too.
Yeah. I just got a death stare from Liam.
1 goal, 16 disposals. Abby had a pretty strong game as well. So she wasn't, a match winner or didn't have the highest disposals or anything like that, but just absolutely did her role and did her role probably to a level higher than expected. She would have been my fourth as well.
Yeah, no, super proud of her ability to be able to go in and under shades of her dad, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's another McKay coming through the ranks. This is going on a little bit of a side tangent, but Sophie McKay was best on ground in the AFLW Futures game on the weekend, thanks to Nath from the rest, Ari.
Yes. Draft expert.
Yeah, Nath sent me a message saying, if you want to mention this on the BAW show. So Sandy Dragons, obviously daughter, dad.
Try that again.
Sorry?
Try that again.
Father, daughter is what I was looking for. So she had 30 disposals and 6 clearances. So a massive game from her. Hopefully we see her wearing the navy blue soon.
Fantastic. I love hearing those good news stories. How old is she? Do we know?
I didn't do that much research into Sophie. I'm assuming
I'll get my spies to go back and find out how old she is for me.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Let's move forward now to the game this weekend against North Melbourne out at Arden Street on Sunday at 3:10. North are coming off an absolute belting of St Kilda. And I actually watched that game, and just the way that North moved the ball, pretty similar to Melbourne, actually. So it's going to be good if Melbourne play North Melbourne. I don't think they do, but they might meet in finals. But I just think that we are going to need to bring our absolute A game if we're going to come anywhere near North Melbourne.
Oh, without a doubt. We are going to have to be better than our best version of Carlton for us to win this game. And I'm not putting it past us by any means. I think this is a new season, as we've touched on quite a bit, and anything is possible. But absolutely, North looked incredible on the weekend. Absolutely dominated St Kilda. St Kilda's first goal came from a free kick as well, so that got them rolling. Without a doubt, were great. For anyone that missed it earlier, they beat St Kilda 56-16. So it was a really big game. They had two players, Ash Riddle and Jasmine, just dropped my pen, and Jasmine Garner. They both had 29 disposals. So some really big role players as well that we're going to have to be careful of on the weekend. Otherwise, we might get our pants pulled down.
Yeah, it was a comprehensive performance. Very much so. And even still, they kicked 8 goals, 8. So it could have been a lot more. So I think the scoreline may hide a little bit more of their quality. But yeah, they were just so comprehensive throughout. Weren't in danger at any stage of the game, any stage throughout the game. So if we're going to get anything from this game on Sunday, everything's going to have to fall right for us. But why can't it? I reckon if we can bring the same intent that we brought on last Saturday, then I think that's going to give us as good a chance as any. I think.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, and I spoke to Mua today and I said, how are you feeling leading into this week? And she said, look, we're going to give it a shot. So we're just going to see how it all unfolds. But look, we can only hope for the best. Do you happen to have who their major ball winners there were, Kira, just so we can kind of see who our matchups will look like?
Yeah, so Ash Riddle and Jasmine Garner both had 29 disposals. Jasmine Garner also had 11 clearances. So Jasmine, we need to watch because she was massive. We also haven't played North we didn't play North last season. So the last time we played North was in season 6. So we haven't even really got a close past game that we can compare to and kind of work on because, the last time we played them was quite a while ago. We did lose 21-51, but it'll be new start, fresh slate. Haven't played them in ages. Fingers crossed we can do something special.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to seeing who we bring in. I think the teams will be announced on Friday for a Sunday game, or they'll announce the squad tomorrow. Usually, I don't know how it works with the boys, similar to the boys, but do you see any changes? Do you reckon who comes in, who comes out?
I was just about to say, I don't think there'll be any changes unless someone's injured because I don't think anyone's back from injury and I can't see anyone getting dropped really. Yeah. So I think the only changes would be if there was an injury. And to answer your question, Josh, no, Abby McKay is not related to Harry.
That would be something, though.
That would be incredible. But no, she's not.
No. I'd concur. I don't change the winning formula, I reckon. Just they did what they needed to do, and I don't think anyone warrants omission from that, unless obviously there's been an injury picked up midweek or whatever, if someone's coming back. But I don't think you can drop anyone from that game. I think everyone deserves to hold their spot.
Yeah, no, well, I was talking to Kez and she said she's about 3 weeks off because I saw her on the weekend. So hopefully she's back by round 4, which will be handy. But no, I don't see anyone getting dropped either. It's just a matter of who we pick to put and shut down on their key players. Yeah, no, I think, like Ari said, let's keep the winning formula because it seemed to work on the weekend. Let's just strengthen that and build towards hopefully what will be another win against a really, really quality opposition. If we win, I'm going to lid is off in round 2. Are we going to go Daniel Gorringe on it and lids off?
Oh.
Fully. I will be the AFLW version of Daniel Gorringe if we win against North.
Get some of the Kool-Aid from Terry's desk.
Absolutely.
Lids
flying,
let's borrow
Kool-Aid
some.
Overflowing.
Lovely.
So let's look at predictions. What are your predictions for the weekend? Like, do we win? Do we lose? If so, by how much?
Well, you know me. I'm never going to say that we're going to lose. I'm the positive, always going to win co-host here. So I'm going to say we're going to win, but it's going to be in the complete opposite fashion as on the weekend. I'm going to say we're going to be behind all game and we're going to fight back in the last quarter and win by 5 points.
Oh, that's not good for the heart, right?
No,
oh my
it's not at
God,
all,
no,
but-
not after Friday night. We're going to have enough going on and you're going to give us a heart attack on Sunday too. Love that.
See, this is right. Friday goes well, and then the girls are really inspired by what happened on Friday night, and they just want to keep it going. And then Lygon Street just explodes, and we're sweet. That's what's going to happen.
There you go. Yeah, that's the goal. I think if we're going to win, it's going to have to be scrappy. I reckon we're going to have to make it a dogfight and just kind of just not pretty at all. Just having to just get the job done. Will it rain? I don't know.
I don't know. Let me check. Keep going.
Yeah, I think it would be handy if it did, just purely for the result purpose. I think it would be far more. I think it would suit us more a little bit if it did rain.
It's meant to rain.
Well, there you go. That kind of
look. That'll help us.
Yeah, it will. I'll say we'll win. I'll say we're going to win. I'll keep the confidence going, but I think it's going to be. I kind of shrugged at the 5-point or 4-point prediction Kira gave, but I think I'm going to give a similar 4 or 5 point win, but in a far not as dramatic. I reckon we're just going to have the lead and just kind of hold it, and we'll go Das kicks 2 in the last. There's a little bonus prediction to get the girls over the line.
Beautiful. I reckon we're going to win by 10 points.
Oh, we're all saying we're going to win. This is great.
The lead is off.
I actually
already.
have the confidence. I have the confidence in our ability to be able to lock down North Melbourne as quickly as possible. We need to bring the noise. I think they're having a festival kind of environment out at Arden Street where they're shutting off streets and stuff like that. And there's going to be all sorts going on. I think it's their Good Friday appeal version for the girls. So, looking forward to being able to get out to Arden Street in number. We're not doing a banner for the girls this week. We're only doing banners for home games at the moment, but still doesn't mean we can't get there and bring the noise.
Exactly. And I think we're lucky this is our second game that it doesn't clash with the men's at all. So there's no excuses. Get there on Sunday. Obviously, there's plenty of excuses, but if you're not doing anything on Sunday and you want some more footy, get down to Arden Street and let's support the women in their second game of the season, because let's keep this roll going.
Keep the momentum up.
Absolutely. They need us.
Yeah, boys win Friday night. We win Sunday. The Carlton train keeps on rolling, guys.
Even saying that and putting that into the universe makes me feel ill.
Got to manifest it.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to have to manifest this, because I can tell you now, come Friday, Thursday night, I'm not going to be able to sleep.
I know.
Sleep won't not exist in my house. So, but look, I really, really hope that the girls get over the line this weekend. I know it's going to be a tough ask given how good North Melbourne are, but I know we've got the prolific ball winners. And if Mariana Anthony, name drop, brings the heat again, as well as she did on the weekend, I can't see why we won't win.
No, absolutely. It's all on Anthony.
Exactly. No pressure. No pressure.
Let's not dump all the pressure on her.
We really want our job back next week, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh, just a little bit. But any other news happening in the world of AFLW at the moment? Was there any match review? Any reports anywhere across the competition? No?
I don't believe so, unless I've missed it. I think we're pretty safe, so I don't think anyone has been reported or anything like that. From all accounts, no one was injured in the game, which is even better because our luck has not been the best over the last few seasons. So that's a good start to season 8. So fingers crossed we can keep the no injury streak going as well.
Yeah, 9 rounds in a season. It'll go very quick, like we say every week. But on that note, guys, I think we will call it a day.
You've got to get to banner.
I do. Yep. They're off to the second side already, and I can tell you it's going to be a nice big one this week. So, but like I said, everyone's here. It's great to see so many people coming out now that the boys are in finals. But no, I want to thank you, Kira, once again, and Ari. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure having you. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
No, I just want to give another shout out to the Cheer Squad, our sponsor. They're tagging us and everything at the moment, which is fantastic. And if you haven't already followed us on Instagram, jump on that. We've hit over 120 followers, which is huge for us. considering we only started this concept at the season launch of the men's this year. Kira and I had a massive conversation about it.
We were a few champagnes in and thought, let's go.
Let's do it. Let's, get an Instagram going. So yeah, give us a like on there. We post content from the Carlton W page most days. So we'll keep you as up to date as possible. But thank you so much once again, guys, for joining us. Thank you, Kate, who's watching all the way from New Zealand again for the third week in a row. It's fantastic to have international followers of the show. But no, have a good rest of your week, baggers. We'll see you all Friday and then again on Sunday. Any parting words, guys?
Nope, just go Blues.
Go Blues.
Go Blues. See you later, guys.